Regal Giant, do you guys consider the Stargate Comics canon?
I've never read the Stargate comics.
Okay.
I always say that, when fans ask, is it canon? I will say, sure, you can consider it canon, until the point where essentially we launch a new series. At that point, they probably cease being canon, depending on what because I don't know what Brad ultimately has in mind for like a new series, but if it's set in the existing Stargate universe, then he'll probably touch on aspects of previous incarnations of the show, and he's certainly not going to be beholden to any kind of spin-off merchandise.
Oh, absolutely.
That was created after the end of Stargate universe.
I always consider it's canon until something bumps it.
Right.
So that's how I look at it. The one with the many Z's, was the character of Gen created for season 2 of Universe, or had you planned to introduce her at the end of season 1? It felt odd to suddenly have her there in season 2 without having seen her in Incursion.
Sorry, who?
Gin.
That was a bit of a cheat. That was a little bit of a cheat. Again, I mentioned this before, because when you bring stuff on the Destiny, it's like, okay, we got a new group of people. Well, have enough of them so you don't see all the faces, so that it's not crazy when suddenly one of them becomes a character that we see and talk to. And it was she was not physically there when they came on the ship at the end of season 1.
The actress, but the character was. Yeah, she just did. I mean, Kiva exited, which gave room for her to come in. So
the really cool one with that for me was Robert Nepper, because you can't just suddenly have Robert Nepper appear out of a group of people. Like he got layered in, which was quite good, and it was weird because it was like, hey, that's Robert Nepper. Why isn't he doing anything in this episode? He's just there. It's like he was like a ticking time bomb waiting to go off.
Right.
And it was like, at some point, this guy's going to blow and do something horrible because it's Robert Nepper. He's going to. But he was a good example of like, you can't just pop because it's Robert Nepper him in. But yeah, she was a bit of a cheat, I think, because she was not there amongst the original crowd. I got to assume she wasn't.
Right.
No,
well,
she wasn't.
Yeah. And you guys did something similar. I'm forgetting the name that the chat will correct me, but there was an Air Force officer in season 1 who was on medication, and so he was kind of a ticking time bomb as well. And then in I think it's Justice, he offs himself, rather than harming anyone else. And so this season, you guys this season were not messing around. It's like this guy, and Simeon's one of the great villains of the franchise.
But we had that discussion with Brad and Rob. That was another thing that was baked into the concept. It was like, okay, there's only so many people, so you can't just suddenly have new. So the idea was, okay, let's have a large group of people and not really just see all the faces, so that it was at least believable when a soldier or somebody in 6 or 7 episodes later could become a character, that we hadn't necessarily met right from the beginning. But you could only do that a little bit.
Exactly.
You couldn't push it too far.
Lockwatcher, how did French Stewart react to coming back to Stargate? Did anyone have that conversation with him?
I did not.
I did not. That wasn't our episode, was it?
No.
See, this is
alliances.
The truth was, we were all mini showrunners to a certain respect. We all, we wrote our individual episodes, we ran our individual episodes, we produced our individual episodes, and because we were focused on our episodes, we didn't really get a chance to interact with, much of other people's productions.
I think he came up to the office and we met him and said hi, but I didn't have a conversation with him. Yeah.
Okay. William Aarons, this is more of a Brad question, but I'm curious as to your guys' thoughts. Had SGU continued, how do you think Rush would have evolved as a character? Would he have continued to remain a self-centered egomaniac, or would that have been kind of like how Rodney evolved? That would have continued to be part of his personality, but he would have continued to be more along the alignment of the military and the other characters.
No,
as we saw beginning to happen in Twin Destinies.
Yeah, like he got sort of humanized a little bit over the course of the show. He softened a little bit, but he was never, that core part of him was never going to go away. And it was always fun to do that. Like when he saves Chloe, right? It's like, and Ray says, if I didn't know any better, I'd say you put, you know, one individual over the, and he says, it's the problem. That's the problem. You don't know any better, right? Like he's still an asshole,
yeah,
right? Like even when he does nice things, there's always a possible ulterior motive to it. Like, did he do that for their sake, or is it just something that he needed to do and he sort of made it look like he did it for somebody else's sake? So I don't, he was softening a little bit, but I don't think it ever would have gone to the point where he's like, he was a fuzzy, warm and fuzzy guy.
No.
He was always going to be that guy.
Yeah.
Which would have been fun. It would have been great to see that character continue to go, because it was amazing. I loved that about him. I loved that we could do stuff like, and he just had that look, like he always just was like, wait, what is he thinking? Like, did he mean what he just said? Like, he just always had that element to him, and it was fun to watch that.
Barry, I always wanted to know if there were any scenes where the actor went way off script, and it was so funny, you guys, in the dailies, you guys managed to keep it in.
I can't remember an example.
Rick was notorious for this.
Not so much in Stargate Universe.
Okay.
I mean, SG-1.
Yeah.
Rick
Oh, yeah. Well,
notorious
Rick, the script was just a guideline for Rick. He never knew what he was going to say. So, in fact, he would go out of his way to say something different. Like if you wrote hello, he would say hi. If you wrote hi, he would say hello. Like he had to do it. It was like that. But yeah, and he also ad-libbed. He did a lot of funny stuff too that stayed in. So yeah, no, not SDU was too. There wasn't. I mean, let's face it, there was some humor, but it was pretty intense. So we stuck to the script pretty much.
Multiple people in the chat loving the vibe between Paul and Joe. Paul, will you please come back to Dial the Gate?
Sure.
Yes! You know what he should do? He should go back to season 4 of SG-1.
You're jumping ahead, Joe.
So you can sort of catch up with me.
So I wanted to see, you know, how much he enjoyed our show, and because like having him one-on-one with me, sorry, Paul, I know you're in the room, will be like a little bit of a different vibe. But I mean, Rob Cooper and I are doing 7 episodes now, so I think we can make it work. So
yeah, but we're like a comedy duo, right? Like you need to cut back and forth.
Absolutely, Paul. My hope is that you and I can go back with material, but we won't. I think we'll be a little bit more aggressive with the time frame. I won't take as long with you. You've got your family and everything going on. But I would love to have you back.
Well, listen, I want to say thank you for having me, because I told you guys before we started this that when I watched your last episode, I was scared because I was like, I don't remember anything. This is horrible. I'm going to be really bad at this. So I went back and watched it. I watched the show again. I didn't watch all 40 episodes because that was a bit much in a week. But I did watch quite a few, and it was fantastic. I was so glad to, you know, I 12 years in my life and kids and everything, and I had forgotten a lot, or not forgotten, but just sort of put it aside.
Right.
You know, and not thought about it for a long time. And preparing for this, I went back, and I'm really glad I did. Stuff like we talked about Joel's music. I was like, oh, I remember this. This is so awesome. Like, and just moments on set and stuff like that. It was very. I'm glad I did it, because it was a cool thing.
And the truth is, as writer producers, we rarely actually watch finished episodes, because we're watching dailies, we're watching director's cuts, we're in editing, watching and rewatching the episodes, and then we're watching them again during the mixes. So
you're watching them for a reason. You're watching them
yes.
for a production reason. Like even the mix, which is everything's locked visually, and some of the visual effects might be done, but you're still not watching it just to enjoy it. You're working on it.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And so, and then you move on because we're making more episodes. You don't go back. So years can go by, like in my case, and then you go back and you go, this was a good show.
Absolutely.
That's what happened to me. I rewatched it and I just appreciated it all over again.
I rewatched like a couple of years ago when Kemi asked me to watch, and I thought, oh, she's being nice. And so maybe we'll watch the first episode or 2, and then she'll get bored and we'll do something else. But she was totally on board.
Yeah.
She absolutely loved the show, which just surprised me. So much so that she was like incredibly disappointed that it only had 2 seasons.
Join the club, Kimmy. Join the club. Thanks for watching this clip from Dial the Gate. If you enjoyed the video, give us a thumbs up. It's our goal to share a new Stargate story every day while we're on break. Please feel free to subscribe to future episodes here on YouTube. And if you have Stargate friends who might like this clip, let them know about us. Be sure to visit dialthegate.com to view the complete archive, as well as transcripts from past interviews. I'll see you on the other side.